For $30, WWE Crown Jewel was worth every cent. After a lackluster ESPN debut with WrestlePalooza, WWE delivered a crowning achievement with Crown Jewel. G0MEZ is a former sports radio anchor from San Diego. With a passion for pro wrestling dating back to 1985, G0MEZ delivers a fresh and engaging take on sports entertainment that stands out from the crowd. When I wrote the recap for WrestlePalooza, WWE's first premium live event, PLE, on ESPN's new streaming service, I asked fans a simple question: was it worth the new $30 price tag? To say the least, WrestlePalooza was a mixed bag. Despite the hype, the show didn't feel all that different or special from past WWE PLEs. On Saturday, WWE returned to ESPN with Crown Jewel. Like most of this year's marquee events, it was built up in just a few weeks. Still, many of the matches had longer-running storylines behind them, giving Crown Jewel more substance than WrestlePalooza. In the end, Crown Jewel exceeded expectations. And for someone like me, who rolled out of bed 15 minutes before it started, that was a welcome surprise. Early start if you're like me. When it's time to watch wrestling, you just turn on the TV, find WWE, and dive in. Whether the show's good or bad, you decide as you watch. But sometimes, outside factors can shape your experience. Maybe it's noisy neighbors, a rough day at work, or just a bad mood. Whatever the reason, it can make even a great show hard to enjoy. Friday night was hectic at my house, and I didn't get to bed until around 1 a.m. I had an event to attend shortly after Crown Jewel ended, so when my alarm went off at 4:45 a.m., I was running on fumes as I tried to watch the show as it aired live from Perth, Australia. My wife woke up not long after, just as Crown Jewel was starting. As she shuffled to the kitchen to make her morning cup of joe, a familiar drumbeat hit. A different kind of Joe was brewing: Roman Reigns. The tribal chief is a big deal in our house and, despite our grogginess, we quickly perked up and threw our ones to the sky. The tribal chief versus the tribal thief. Reigns' street fight with Bronson Reed didn't reinvent the wheel, but it was paced well and built to a strong finish. Reigns looked like he was enjoying himself, playing to the crowd. At one point, he teased a table spot, telling the fans they'd have to acknowledge him first. They did. But Reed ruined the party and shoved the tables away. Classic heel move. The finish came when Bron Breakker showed up, followed by the Usos. A miscue from Reigns' cousins and Breakker's brute force put Reed in position to beat Reigns clean. Yes, clean. Not fair, but clean. It was a street fight, after all. No rules to break. Everything that happened was legal, and arguably, Reed's win was even more impressive because he and Breakker overcame a 3-on-2 situation. Why this match mattered. This match accomplished a lot. It set the tone for the night. Reed's win gave momentum to the Vision, Seth Rollins faction, and helped bookend the show alongside Rollins' later victory. It created storyline fallout. Reigns told the Usos he loved them, but didn't want to see them again until Christmas. Hilarious, but also smart. It gives Reigns a reason to disappear as WWE builds towards Survivor Series and War Games. It opened the door for a trilogy. Reigns and Reed are now 1-1. Both matches delivered. A third bout would be welcome, and could inch Reigns closer to a showdown with Rollins, if that's where WWE is headed. Women's Crown Jewel Championship, Baker vs. Stratton. Next up was a clash between WWE's two women's world champions, Stephanie Baker and Tiffany Stratton. WWE has strapped rockets to both in 2025, so I was surprised to see this match happen now. It felt like a potential WrestleMania main event. Instead, it happened here, and it delivered. The intrigue came from who would go over. Both are on the rise, but Baker got the win, and it was the right call. Stratton's had a fantastic year, beating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania and dominating Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. Baker, meanwhile, just claimed the women's world title after running through NXT. Even though she's still rising, Stratton's the more established star, which made putting over Baker the smart move to keep her momentum going. The match was solid, but a rematch, one built with story, stakes, and deeper fan investment, will be even better. I can't wait. Cena vs. Styles, a love letter to wrestling. The match everyone's raving about was John Cena vs. AJ Styles. When fans like something, they express it with a "this is awesome" chant. Well, this wasn't simply awesome, this was all kinds of awesome. Another great match in their series, this was also a sterling tribute to Cena's greatest rivals, a love letter to pro wrestling. But what hit hardest came before the bell. After ring announcer Alicia Taylor gave Cena his last real champion intro, Cena handed her a note, his own written introduction for Styles. It referenced his TNA days and his WWE Championship run, calling Styles the face that runs the place. Last week, Styles reaffirmed that 2026 will be his final year. For Cena to pause his own farewell tour to spotlight Styles like that? It got me choked up. Also, kudos to Perth. After Cena hit Styles with a Sister Abigail in tribute to the late Bray Wyatt, the crowd lit up the arena with their phone flashlights, a glowing salute from the Fireflies to a visionary talent gone far too soon. I've seen a lot of incredible things in wrestling this year, but that might be my favorite moment. Well done, Cena. Well done, Styles. Well done, Perth. Unfortunately, Cena vs Styles was so good it drained the crowd for the next match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky vs. the Kabuki Warriors. This has been one of WWE's strongest storylines lately, and while the match was solid, it ran a bit long, especially after such an emotional high. At one point, Sky made a hot tag to Ripley, which should have led to the finish. Instead, the match dragged on, eventually leading to a second, less impactful tag before Sky pinned Kairi Sane. It wasn't bad, just mistimed. The placement didn't do it any favors, and it could have used a tighter finish. The main event, Rollins vs Rhodes, seals the deal. Up until the main event, Crown Jewel was in the running for my favorite show of the year. Then Rollins vs Rhodes happened, and it locked it in. Now, remember what I said about outside factors? By this point, I was watching the clock as much as the match. I had somewhere to be. But Rollins and Rhodes held my attention. Two moments stood out. You see, this story was about Rollins needing the win, not Cody. The story demanded a Rollins win. He had never beaten Rhodes, and a loss would have unraveled his character's arc. The only thing I wasn't sure of was how they'd get there. Would it be clean? Would, or more precisely, when would outside help show up? Well, surprise, surprise. Rollins ended up winning with just enough scumbag energy, using the Rolex Cody had gifted him at WrestleMania XL. Dirty, yes, but it was solo. No run-ins. No distraction roll-ups. Just a heel winning dirty, but on his own. With interference running rampant across WWE lately, this was refreshing, a nice change of pace for a villain. Final thoughts. When Crown Jewel ended, I left the house in a great mood. Despite the short build and my lack of sleep, the show delivered. By the time I arrived at my event, I was more energized than I had any right to be. The show gave me a jolt, start to finish. Now, do I love the $30 ESPN price tag? Not really. But I'll say this, WWE